Okay, in this video I'm going to show you, rather than the first one, I'm showing you a wider view on how to cut Masonite boards with a utility knife. Now in the first video I showed you it was too close and I don't think you could get a really good view of how to do it. So here I'm showing you with a wider view from the phone, and I think you'll be able to figure it out how to do it better. So what are we doing here? Here I'm measuring the Masonite with a really well calibrated ruler. Not a yardstick, but a really nice ruler that has good calibrations on it. I'm measuring 8 inches exactly. I'm going to mark that with a yardstick. I'm using a mechanical pencil so that the line is really fine. I have a board underneath me that's 3/4 inch plywood. It would have been better if it was bigger, but that's what I have here. The bigger the board, the easier it is for you to do the cut because you don't have to center it so much. It could be 1/2 inch plywood. It could be 3/4 inch plywood. I like 3/4 better, but so I'm very carefully making that mark. And now notice a couple of things. Notice my right foot is holding the ruler, and my left hand is holding the ruler on the top. Now, repeated cuts, and note, this is really dangerous if you're not careful. Don't use a lot of pressure. Use as little pressure as you can, actually. And I'm angling the knife a little bit away from that direction of my hand. Keep that in mind. If you can do that, just angle the knife a little bit away. Now I'm not going to cut straight through. I'm going to cut halfway through. I think I cut a little more than halfway through. Now I mark it very carefully and accurately with that mechanical pencil. And here I've actually cut through so I can see where the cut is, so I don't have to go to the other side. So I've marked that with pencil. And now again I'm going to go with a ruler, a yardstick on this side. The metal yardstick has to be, make sure it's not dinged up on the sides in any way, because your knife has to follow that edge. So it has to be a nice clean edge on that yardstick. Again, left foot holding the yardstick, right hand holding the yardstick. Knife is angled a little bit away from me, just a little bit in the other direction. So in case it ever slips, it's not going to slip into me, it's going to slip in the other direction. You may notice also that I'm putting a fair amount of pressure on that. I am. You don't have to put as much. You can use more repeated cuts and just use less pressure. But it's just a little harder. The more cuts you make, the more passes you make with a knife, you've just got to hold your position for longer. But I figure if an old fart like me could do it, you could do it too. Here I'm using the square to check that all 3 sides so far are square, and they are. So I feel confident that everything has been done right so far. Now here, with my really nicely calibrated ruler, I'm just going to measure down from the middle to 8 inches, and then I'm going to use the square to draw the line, because I know that all 3 sides are square so far. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to use the square to draw the line. And now, because I'm making 8-inch painting panels here, and this is the thinnest Masonite I can get. You can get thicker Masonite and that'll be fine too. You could go up to 1/8 of an inch, even more if you want. Just a little harder if it's thicker. Now the smaller the panel, the easier it is to cut. You can cut larger panels too. Just be aware that they might warp a little when you get the gesso on, but consider making cradle panels, which is not hard either. Just use clamps to glue and glue and clamp the 1x2 onto the edges, and then a screw in each corner. No screws, no nail touches the painting surface. I'm talking about 1 screw for the from the 1x2 into the 1x2 at the corners. That's if you want to cradle a panel. which I'm not showing you in this video. So again, I've more or less cut through that board, and I can see where the cut is coming through, so I don't have to mark from the edge. The blade on this knife is very sharp. I changed it very recently. Keep your your knife blades very sharp. And there you see, it's a really nice, cleanly cut thing. I do this all the time, and I prefer this method above using a table saw. Checking each side for squareness. Each side is perfect. And you do have to check this, otherwise you have no sureness of how you've done. There, gave you the thumbs up, everything's right. So again, if you have a bigger baseboard to cut upon, that's better. My board there is kind of small. You can cut larger panels. Use a yardstick, mechanical pencil, utility knife, a little set square.